Hi everybody, it's Virginia with 13 Design. Thanks so much for joining me here today for the episode 2 of our Stick It series. And again today I'm going to be teaching you another technique and another medium to use to attach your decoupage paper. So today we're using, of course, a 13 Design designed decoupage paper, canvas, a slow dry blending gel medium from Artist's Loft. Yes, you can use this as a gluing medium. And an adorable little crafting iron. If you don't own an adorable little crafting iron, which honestly are very inexpensive online, and that way if you get glue and things on the surface, you're not ruining your real iron. But if all you have is a real iron, not a problem. Go ahead and grab it. Just make sure that we're using dry heat and there's no steam on, because especially when we're using a decoupage paper, we don't want to be steaming it. We're just looking to heat it up today. And we're going to be using the dry method of applying and the heat method. So this is going to be fun. So let's get started. So for this project, we're going to be using the blending gel and the canvas. You definitely want to make sure you shake up the blending gel before using it, of course. And we're just going to be using a brush here to apply. I do have a little small tear in my canvas. There is a video on how to repair holes. This is a tiny hole, so it's not going to be an issue for us. As you can see, the paper will cover it, and it's not a hole, it's just a small tear, so no big deal. But if you do want to see how to fix a tear or hole in your canvas, you can watch that video on our channel as well. Anyway, so our blending gel is really thick. See how thick this is? So it's really thick, which allows for us to leave like a really nice layer for this dry method. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover the whole canvas, including all the way to the edges and into the corners, a nice layer of the blending gel here. Now, the key to the dry method, oh, and of course, we're going to want to put our lid back on. We don't want it to dry out. The key to our dry method is that things are dry, right? So we're going to go ahead and grab our heat gun. If you have a hair dryer, works too. Heat gun just works a little bit quicker. And we're going to go ahead and dry the glue on the canvas before we do anything else. If you're using a heat gun like I am, you're going to want to move it quickly. Don't hold it in one spot for a very long time or it will cause bubbles. So once the canvas is dry, we're going to test it out here. We're going to go ahead and get our iron heated. Again, we're using the craft iron. If you don't have a craft iron, you're going to want to make sure that you use a regular iron on dry heat, not on steam. So we're going to go ahead and place our decoupage paper onto our dry canvas. Just to make sure that it fits where we want and that it's placed down where we'd like. The back side down, front side up, and again, we're going to make sure we cover that small tear in our canvas. So I just want to get an idea of where it's going to be, where it's going to hit. I want more of the raindrops or the paint drops to show, so I'm going to go ahead and scoot it down a little. But we could go ahead and cut it to fit with scissors. You could use a straight edge. You could even use a water brush to gently tear it. This is our water brush. But I'm going to go ahead and use a different method just to kind of show you guys different ways to trim. We're going to use this little sanding block, and this is really great for crafts. So I'm going to show you that in a little bit, but that's how we're going to go ahead and quote unquote cut it, right? So I'm making sure that this fits onto the page where I'd like. I'm going to place it exactly where I would like it on the dry glue. With the canvas, it does have space here, so you might need something to support your canvas, but I'm going to show you in our method that we're using, we're not going to press real hard on the front of the canvas. We're going to gently press. If you're someone who likes to press harder, you're definitely going to want to support the canvas from underneath. So we're just going to get everything lined up exactly how we want here. And then we're going to use parchment paper. Really important step. Use parchment paper. I like the pop-up sheets because they're pre-cut, makes it a little bit easier. We're going to lay that on top before we use our craft iron. This just allows for us an extra security layer, and on the edges here we have the glue. So if we were to use the iron without parchment paper, we would be heating up right on top of the glued surface, and it would kind of mess up the surface of our iron. We don't want to do that. So parchment paper is a really great option. So our craft iron is all heated up here, and we're going to get started. Go ahead and iron over top of the dry paper and dry glue, right? So the heat will set the paper onto the glue, and we're just going to go around, make sure that we get all of the edges, all of the center. We're not going to press hard, right? We're just pressing lightly, so we don't want to push into the canvas. Again, if you press hard, you're going to want to support the canvas from underneath. But we're going to get all the edges, all around the middle. We're just going to go real slow, make sure everything is securely attached. So just to make sure it's attached the way that we'd like, and make sure that there's no lumps or bumps, just run our hand over top. Then we're going to grab the edges and pull up. It's stuck, right? It heated the glue, and it really set the paper onto the glue. The one edge wasn't quite as attached as I'd like it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and go around again and just really take my time on the edges. I'm going to go real slow. This video is speeded up a little bit, but I went real slow along the edges to make sure that it really sets nicely. We want to make sure that that our paper is glued down appropriately. And again, no lumps, bumps, anything like that. Using this method is pretty foolproof. And again, the gel works really nice with this because it gives you a nice thick base to work with, to glue to. So I'm just making sure, again, no lumps and bumps. And now I'm going to show you how to cut it, quote unquote cut it, right? We're not really cutting it. We're using this fine grit sandpaper on this little sanding block, and we're just going to pull down with the block and kind of score the edge initially. So as I go along here, I'm just kind of lifting the canvas up off the table, and I'm just going to use this sanding block. You can see where I've kind of scored the edge. And so we're just going to go back over it several times to really cut through the paper. And again, the fine grit just ensures that you're getting the cut, but it's right at the exact length, the exact fit that we're looking for, right? So real easy, and then we just gently tear away. If it's not completely cut through, we just go back over it again with the little sanding block. This is a really great way to ensure an exact fit on your piece. Works well with canvases, wood surfaces, and then we're just going to pull it away. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. We're just going to dust it off a little and see, right along the edge there. Really great fit. So we don't need to do it on the sides, but we will need to do it on the top edge. Same procedure, same way that we did the bottom, we're doing the top. And you can see the top is cut. So so it's a really great thing to do. You don't need the little sanding block. You could just use fine grit sandpaper, but the little sanding block is pretty great, and you can find them online. So at this point, we could be done. Because this is going to hang on a wall, it's not going to get a lot of wear and tear. We could just leave it that way. Or if you'd like to put a coat over top, a second coat, a thin coat over top the entire front piece here, edge to edge, top to bottom, that would give you just a little bit more protection against dust and dirt. Otherwise, go hang it up. Thanks for joining us. Happy creating!